Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Hutchinson, and today we're going to continue with our scientific measurements unit, and we're going to be talking about metric to non-metric conversions. So we've talked about single metric conversions, we've also talked about multiple metric conversions. Now we're going to talk about metric to non-metric conversions. So here's what you're going to do. It's pretty simple. In the US, we really don't use metric units except for in science because it's the standardized units that we're given for science that we have to use, because if we don't use them and we have incorrect values or things like that, and when they get lost in the conversions, it makes it very tricky. And as you get to physics, you'll see where that issue kind of comes into play with certain things that have happened in society. So now, in order to do a metric to non-metric conversion, I have to give you the conversion factor. It must be given to you, but I can give it to you in multiple ways. I can give it to you as a fraction, or I can give it to you as an equation, so known as an equivalency statement, really. And its value is equal to 1 because of the fact that the units have different meanings. And then we're going to use the same process that we used for our metric conversions, meaning the t-chart and plugging things in. So, how many centimeters are in 25 inches? Well, you're going to use the exact same procedure that we used for our metric conversions. I laid them all out here. But the first thing that you have to have given to you is the conversion factor itself. Now, I can give it to you multiple ways. The first one would be a simple equation. So 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. That's a pretty simple one. It's an equivalency statement. They're definitely equal because they have different units attached to them. The other way that I can give it to you would be in fractional form. So it would be 1 inch over 2.54 centimeters. Or I could flip it, where I would have 2.54 centimeters over 1 inch. But either way, it's simply stating that they are in fact equal and that you can use them in any conversion. So we're going to set this up the exact same way that we have been doing all of our conversions, except now we're going to be converting from inches, which I have to do 2 boxes because I didn't think that one through, to centimeters. So now, same exact steps. Let's make our t-chart. I'm pretty proud of those straight lines except for the top and the bottom. Just going to throw that out there. So we've got our given, which in this case is 25 inches. We're going to place that in the upper left, much like we have been doing. Now we're going to use our conversion factor that I had to give you. We're going to place the unit that was given to us in the question, the one that we need to get rid of, in the lower right. So inches, because it needs to cancel out. And then we're going to place our centimeters in the upper right, because that's what we're converting to. Now, much like our metric conversions, we're going to place the numbers that are in front of our conversion factor in front of their appropriate units in our t-chart. So since we have a 1 in front of inches, we're going to place a 1 in front of inches down here. Since we have 2.54 in front of centimeters, we're going to place 2.54 in front of centimeters here. So, you're simply going to multiply straight across. So we've got 25 times 2.54. And that's going to give us an answer of 64 centimeters. That's simply how you convert from metric to non-metric units. It's the same exact setup, except now it's a little easier because you don't have to determine your conversion factor, but rather I give it to you. So you're welcome for making it a little easier. The things I do, I can't help myself. Of course, I'm not just going to leave you with one example. Let's try some other examples. So obviously, if you take a look at all of your worksheets or in your worksheet section, you'll find all of these relationships here between metric and non-metric units. Here's the one that we just used. So this is a good reference for you to convert from one unit to another. Now, things that I will not give you would be how many seconds are in a minute, how many minutes are in an hour. I just won't give those to you. Those are common and things that you should know. I did, however, give you how many inches are in a foot. So just, again, units that you should know their conversions between, I'm not going to give to you. So now, let's try another example. It says, how many kilograms are there in 125 pounds? So what you're going to do is look up on the previous slide. Well, we're going from pounds, I should say, to kilos, to kilograms. So what we're going to do is look up over here. Do we have pounds to kilos? We sure do. So let's take this conversion. So 1 kilogram is equal to 2.21 pounds. So we're going to rewrite that. Of course, I gave it to you. Again, all of these relationships are found in the worksheet section of your packet. So we state that over here, let me get a nice color, we've got 1 kilogram equals 2.21 pounds. So that's our conversion factor. So now let's just convert. We've got our T-chart. We're converting from pounds to kilos. So let's write what's given in our upper left, 125 pounds. We're going to write that same unit of pounds in our lower right so it can cancel out. Boom, boom. We're going to write the unit that we are converting to on top. So kilograms goes on top. And we're going to place the numbers in front of our conversion factors in front of each unit respectively. So we've got a 1 in front of kilograms, and we've got 2.21 in front of pounds. Multiplying straight across. So we've got 125 divided by 2.21. And you wind up with 56.6 kilograms. Not too bad, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but I kind of like it. It's pretty nice, pretty simple. Okay. Taking a look back at our worksheet. So after reading the next one, let's figure out what it is that we're going to be converting from and what we're converting to. How many meters are in 6.2 miles? So let's take a look. So we're going meters to miles or miles to meters. So do we have a conversion factor? Ah, yes, we do. So we've got 1 mile equals 1609 meters. So that's what we're going to use. Again, it would be handy if you have your worksheets out so that you can see this, so I don't have to keep flipping back and forth. Well, I will, but you won't. So let's take a look. So our conversion factor here is 1 mile equals 1609 meters. So now, let's start converting. We draw our T-chart. We're going to write what's given, 6.2 miles here. So our miles unit must go in the bottom right to cancel out. Our meters unit goes on top because that's what we're converting from, or converting to rather. So now we're going to place the numbers that are in front of each unit and place them appropriately in our T-chart. So we've got a 1 in front of miles, we've got a 6.09 in front of meters. We're going to multiply straight across, so we would get 6.2 times 1609, and we will get an answer of 9,975.8 meters. Okay, that's pretty close to 10,000 meters. So far, so good? Awesome. So let's move on to the next one. Next one's going to take some multiple conversions. So we're converting from feet to yards. How many yards are in 325 feet? So that means that we're going to be looking at, is there a conversion directly from feet to yards? So let's take a look. So if we take a look at our relationships between metric and non-metric units, we'd want to try and figure out, is there a conversion that's going to get us directly from feet to yards? So looking at our lengths over here, we've got, 1 foot equals 12 inches, 1 foot equals 0.304 meters, 1 meter equals 39.37 inches, 1 meter equals 1.094 yards, 1 yard equals 0.9144 meters. So we don't have a conversion that's going to get us directly from feet to yards. But we can, in fact, choose a couple of conversions if we wanted to. So feet to inches, if we chose this one, can we get from inches to yards? So nope, the only conversion that's dealing with inches would get us to centimeters. So we're not going to use that one. Nope. If we go feet to meters, well, that's our only other option. So we're going to have to use 1 foot equals 0.304 meters. And then we can go from meters to yards. I guess I should say, if you wanted to, you could go feet to inches, inches to meters, and then meters to yards. You could definitely do that. But in this particular instance, it's a lot easier just to go feet to meters and then meters to yards. So you could do feet to meters and then meters to yards if you wanted to. It's much simpler to do it that way. Or you could go feet to inches, inches to meters, and meters to yards. So doing it this way over here, that's going to take an extra conversion factor. So I don't know about you, but I'm going to go and use this one. It's a little easier, it's a little simpler. So 1 foot equals 0.304 meters, and 1 meter equals 1.094 yards. All right, let's do it. So now that we figured out that we're going to go feet to meters and then meters to yards, let's write our conversion factors down. I'm going to write them down here. So we've got 1 foot equals 0.304 meters. And we also have 1 meter equals 1.094 yards. So those are the two conversion factors that we're going to be using. Since we're using two conversion factors, we're going to have our multiple conversion factor T-chart. So let's write our given in the upper left, 325 feet. So now we're going to use our first conversion factor that deals with feet. So we're going to put feet in the bottom. And we're going to place our unit of meters on the top because that's what's present in our conversion factor. We're going to place whatever numbers are found in front of our in front of our units in our conversion factor. So we've got 1 foot and 0.304 304 meters. Now we can cross off feet. So now we're in meters. We're going to then use our second conversion factor here to get us to go from meters to yards. So we'll place meters in the bottom right so that they can cancel. We'll place our yards in the upper right, and we're going to place whatever value is in front of the respective units. So we've got 1 meter and 1.094 yards. Multiplying straight across, we should get a value of 108.1. So 108.1 yards. Okay. So you're going to do some more examples on the worksheet. Now I just wanted to tell you there's a second way you can do all of these. You can use a proportion and then cross multiply. For me, that's a little tricky, but you can absolutely do it. It's going to work for you as long as you set it up appropriately. But regardless of the way that you choose, you want to make sure that you show the complete setup and then round to the appropriate significant figures from now until the Regents exam on everything. So homeworks, quizzes, labs, and tests. So now we're going to do our converting non-metric units worksheet numero uno. So you're going to have to use that conversion sheet that I showed you earlier. In fact, let's go back and take a look at it. So you're going to have to use this conversion worksheet. It's given to you again in your worksheet, so you're going to have to flip back and forth. But you're going to need it because it has every conversion on here that you are going to use. So let's take a look. We're going to be converting for this first one here. We're going to convert from inches to centimeters. So you're going to look on that worksheet and you're going to find out that 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. So then you're going to simply do what we have been doing, making our T-chart. We're going to place what is given in the upper left, so 75 inches. We're then going to place our units appropriately. Since we have inches in the upper left, we're going to place inches in the bottom right so that they can cancel. We're going to place centimeters on top because that is the unit we are converting to. We're going to place the appropriate numbers in front of each unit. So we've got 1 inch on the bottom, 2.54 centimeters, on top. And we're simply going to multiply straight across. And that's going to give us a value of 190.5 centimeters. Rounding to the appropriate significant figures, since we have two significant figures in 75, that means that we're going to round to two significant figures because we are multiplying. So we will get 190 centimeters. If you forgot how to do significant figures, please make sure that you review that video. Now, along with doing metric worksheets, converting non-metric worksheets number 1, you're also going to be doing converting non-metric worksheets number 2. So this one's going to deal with multiple conversions. So you are going to be looking again at that sheet that I gave you that deals with our metric to non-metric conversions. And so here we're going to be converting from miles into yards. So from miles into yards. So let's go back and let's take a look at that conversion sheet and see which conversion we're going to be using. So we're going from miles to yards. So we're going to find a way to do that. So here we go. Looking through this, we've got miles to meters. Or we could go from kilometers to miles. So we need to really look and see what we want to do. I don't know about you, but these look pretty enticing right here. Our 1 mile equals 1609 meters, and then 1 yard equals 0.9144 meters. So those would be the ones that I would use. You can obviously use other ones. You can use this conversion factor up here. You can use multiple conversion factors. Those are just the two that I'm going to use. So let's take a look at those particular ones, see how they fit in. So all I did was write in the conversion factors so that we can see them. So now we're going to write our multiple conversion t-chart. So we've got our given, we're going to place that in the upper left. So we've got 5.00 miles. We're then going to take our appropriate conversion factor, the one that deals with miles, so this one right here. I'm going to use that one. We're going to place the unit of miles in the middle so it'll cancel out, the middle bottom. And then we're going to place the unit that's in our conversion factor, so meters, on top. We're going to place the appropriate numbers in front of their appropriate units, so 1 mile, and then we have 1609 on top. We're then going to use our next conversion factor, so this next one here. That gets us from meters to yards. So we're going to place our unit of meters in the bottom right. We'll place our unit of yards in the top right. That way our meters can now cancel. We're going to place the appropriate numbers in front of each unit. So now we've got 1 yard equals 0.9144. And we're going to multiply straight across. So we've got 5 times 1609 times 1 divided by 1 times 0.9144. And we come out with an answer of 8798 yards. If you used different conversion factors, it might be something slightly different, but it should be very close to this. Rounding to the appropriate significant figures, we need 2, that's a lie, we need 3 significant figures. So it's probably best if we write this in scientific form, because if we take a look at 1, 2, 3, and we look behind, we wind up having to round 9 up, which gives us a 0. So that means that we would have 8,800. But then that only gives us 2. So we're going to have to write this in scientific notation. So we would get 8.80 times 10 to the third yards. Okay? So that is how this second worksheet works. So work on converting non-metric unit worksheet number 1 and work on converting non-metric worksheet number 2.